All right, so I'm going to show you how to shoot 204 Ruger out of an AR-15. I'm not blazing any trails here. Lots of people done it. It's been done a bunch before. However, some information online is somewhat shoddy on ways in which to do it. So I want to first describe this gun. This is an AR-15, obviously. That is a upper from AR15part.com. There's a couple different companies making full upper receivers for 204 Rugers. They are far and away the cheapest. Even though they're the cheapest, I think that the quality of them is still pretty dang good. This barrel is a 24-inch bull barrel, so yes, it is very long. This is not some sort of tactical thing. This is definitely a varmint setup. And anyone who's wants to do 204 Ruger in this is going to want it for a varmint setup. You pretty much want 204 Ruger because it blows away 223 when it comes to speed. It's not even close. Even same grain for same grain bullet, 204 Ruger just destroys it. It does not shoot heavy bullets. It shoots light bullets very fast, very flat for, up to maybe 400 yards. After that, your energy's so low that it's going to be hard to do that. But anywho, so the barrel that they use is an ER Shaw barrel. Pretty standard quality, getting near match grade barrel. Yes, it's a full bull barrel, so full thickness, almost 1 inch all the way through. Makes it a very heavy setup. This gun is about 11 pounds. Their setup does not come with a bolt or a charging handle, but it does come with a pretty nice forend of your choosing. This gun also has a few standard little AR things. It's got a mag pull, solid stock. That really helps with accuracy. I did put a little bushing in here. Some people says it doesn't do anything. That single-handedly dropped groups about 1/4 inch in my gun, so it worked for me. Grip of my choosing, nice and molded. This has a Rise Armament RA140 trigger. Non-adjustable 3.5 pound single stage with a little bit of the curved blade. I love it. I think it's great. I wouldn't want anything less in a semi-auto. I know some people shoot less in a semi-auto, but 3.5 pounds is as low as I'm willing to go. I painted that. You can see some scratches. I did it with a cheaper paint before I started using Brownell's Alumihide. I think I'm ended up repainting that with it. So the 204 Ruger is based off of the 223 Remington Magnum. So here you have 204 Ruger on the left, 223 on the right. You'll notice that the case length is different. Case length on the 204 Ruger is longer and the shoulder is higher. So they just neck down a 223 Remington Magnum, and on the right is a standard 223. Since the 223 usually shoots a larger bullet, it ends up being longer. They both have the same SAMI spec 204 Ruger versus 223 Remington. They have the same spec SAMI cartridge length, overall length, Cole. It's like 2.260, I believe. So they're designed to work in your AR-15 magazines. They use the exact same head and bolt. So literally all you got to do with an AR-15 is really just change your barrel. However, when I did mine, I ran into some issues. So I tried a bunch of different magazines. Some people said some magazines will run the 204 Ruger better than the plastics. I did not notice that. Some of the metal ones I ran still stuffed up. Because what happens is, with that shoulder being pushed forward further, with the follower, you have a shoulder guide in there. And the shoulder guide is a certain level. I modified these magazines. I took them apart and I filed that shoulder guide down a lot lower. The stock one is a much higher profile. By doing so, it makes it so that I can jam down. Let me put this in. I can jam down. This is a 20 round magazine. I can jam down 20 without them binding. But before, the shoulder would rub right there. Would rub right there on those when they were full profile and bind at about 7 or 8 and just wouldn't feed because the spring was getting so much resistance they wouldn't pop up fast enough for it to cycle. So these are Magpoles. So if you want to run a standard Magpole, PMag, or any other one that's like it, you gotta take it apart and trim down those shoulder guides to get it to run. Or, after all of my searchings and trying like 10 different magazines, I came across these guys. MFT magazines. These MFT magazines give you more room by the shoulder guide. And so when you pop that guy in, it might be kind of hard to tell there, but let's see if I can push this down. But the shoulder guide matches it closer. And so at least on these 10 rounders, because all I've seen these things is in 10 rounds and 30 rounders. If you can stand a 10 rounder, this will work better with 204 Ruger. I ran these and they just cycle right through. And they're pretty nice for prone. Another thing is too, if you want to modify these Magpole magazines, I think that the 20 round and 10 rounders are the way to go, because when you put it on a low bipod, it's pretty close in length to the average pistol grip. And so you can still shoot it in a decently prone setting, or at least it's not longer than that grip. So 10 rounders and 20 rounders, modify the magazine by shaving that down, or you could just go buy these MFT mags. So I think another thing to talk about when it comes to the ballistics of these two, you know, I've cronied and developed all these different loads. These are all my reloads. You know, for me, what I'm using here, the red ones, those are 32 grain Hornady VMAX and 204 Ruger. What worked best for me out of my gun was Reloader 10X. You can see my charge there. I think it's 26.0 grains of Reloader 10X with a 32 grain VMAX. The green ones are 39 grain Sierra Blitz Kings. I believe they're Blitz Kings, either Game Kings. I always forget, but the 39 grains designed for the 204 Ruger. One limitation of the 204 Ruger is its 112 barrel twist, limiting the size of bullets. Mine shoots these 39s perfect. I haven't even tried 40s in the other kinds. The 40s may or may not work with that twist, depending on how you do it, but like this load right here is with Reloader 10X and 39 grain Sierras. And out of this gun, they're shooting almost 4,000 feet per second and doing sometimes better than a half-inch group at 100 yards. I shot a 3/4 inch group at 200 yards with those, and pretty much in anybody's hand, because this thing is so light recoiling, almost anybody can shoot, you know, better than an inch group. My wife gets it and shoots tack hammers with it. As compared to 223, I mean, these are 40 grain VMAXs with a very similar load that I've worked up. And I mean, out of an AR15, I have a 20-inch barrel AR15, and they're getting maybe 3,600. So substantially less. I mean, the barrel on a 220 or 223, that extra 4 inches isn't going to net you much, maybe 50 feet per second. So a pretty good trajectory advantage, especially out to at least 300, 350 yards.